In Oruku village, life moved slowly, almost like the rhythm of the old drums the elders beat during festivals. The cockcrow was your alarm, the smell of roasted yam in the morning was your breakfast, and the sound of children fetching water at the stream was your daily song. Among the mud houses and rusted zinc roofs, there was one small compound where a man named Chijioke lived with his daughter, Adana. You could call Chijioke poor, but poverty is too small a word to explain his life. His hands were cracked from the hoe, his back bent like the old Iroko tree near the market square, and his eyes always tired from the endless struggle of providing food from the stubborn soil. He was a farmer, but the earth in Oruku was not generous. Sometimes the cassava grew well, other times it dried before harvest. Yet every morning, before the sun rose, he carried his hoe and whispered prayers under his breath. God, na only you know wetin man dey suffer o, he would say. Then he would spit into his palms and grip the hoe, ready for battle with the land. But in that same small house, hope lived. Adana, his only child, was that hope. She was slim, with eyes that carried light brighter than kerosene lamp. She moved with quiet dignity, always helping her father, always reading her books even under the flickering lantern when power from PACN disappeared as usual. The villagers often said, "Dat Adana girl go reach far. She dey carry her papa head high." Chijioke knew this truth too. It was why he saved every kobo like his life depended on it. He stopped buying new clothes for Christmas. He patched his old sandals until the sole became thin like paper. He even sold most of his yam harvest at the market, eating only the small ones that remained. Every coin went into an old metal tin he kept under his bed. Some nights, after Adana had fallen asleep, he would bring it out, shake it softly, and smile at the rattling sound. "I dey save this money for you, my pikin. Na this money go carry you go university o." He remembered how her mother, before sickness carried her away, had said, "Chijioke, promise me you go take care of our daughter. Let her go school. Let her reach where we no fit reach." And he promised. That promise became the fuel that kept him alive. Adana herself never complained. She knew they were poor. She knew her father's shirts were worn out, and his wheels were smaller than hers because he always said, "Eat well, my daughter. I dey okay." Yet she studied hard. Her teachers praised her. In her final exams, she came first, not just in her class, but in the entire school. Her closest friend was Chiamaka, a girl from the same village. Chiamaka's family was not as poor as Adana's. Her father was a trader, her mother sold fabrics in the city. They had more, but Chiamaka was not as brilliant as Adana. At first, she clapped for her friend's success, calling her "my brainy sister." But deep inside, envy had started to grow slowly, quietly, like a snake hiding in tall grass. Adana did not notice. She was too innocent, too happy. She believed Chiamaka truly celebrated her. One hot afternoon, after coming back from the farm, Chijioke entered the compound and saw Adana sitting under the mango tree with a letter in her hand. Her eyes were wide, her lips trembling. She stood up and ran to him. "Papa!" she shouted, her voice breaking with excitement. "Papa, I got admission! University don't accept me!" For a moment, Chijioke stood still. His hold dropped from his hand and fell on the ground with a dull thud. His chest rose and fell fast. He could not believe it. He grabbed the letter from her hand and squinted at the words, reading slowly with his broken English. "Dear Adana Chijioke, we are pleased to inform you that you have been offered admission to study medicine at the University of Lagos." His eyes blurred with tears. He could not finish the letter. He shouted, "Na God oh, na God oh, my daughter don't make am." He lifted her high into the air, spinning her around even though his tired arms ached. "Papa, careful," Adana laughed, her face glowing. That night, there was no food in the pot except garri and groundnuts, but they ate like kings. Father and daughter sat close, their joy filling the small room. Chijioke placed the admission letter on the table, staring at it as if it was gold. "See am, Adana, this paper be the key. Now this key go open the door wey poverty lock for our family. You go wear graduation gown one day and your papa go sit down proud for hall. All the people wey laugh me say I be poor farmer, dem go clap for you. Ah, my pikin, my blood, you don bring light come this house. Adana held his rough hands, tears in her eyes. Papa, na your sacrifice bring me here. I go make you proud. Outside, the crickets sang. The lantern burned low. In another compound, not far away, Chiamaka sat in her room holding her own rejection letter. Her chest burned with shame and anger. She could hear the laughter from Adana's house. Her eyes narrowed. Adana again? Always Adana? Na only she God dey see? We go see who go laugh last. But in that moment, in that little mud house, Chijioke and Adana knew nothing of the shadow creeping near. For them, it was only joy, only dreams of a better tomorrow. And as Chijioke lay on his mat that night, sleep refused to come. He kept smiling into the darkness, whispering, I know they sleep well because of how I dey think say how I go take pay school fee. But God go provide. Na him start this journey, na him go finish am.
News travels fast in a village. By the next morning, before the dew had even dried from the grass, the whole of Oruku already knew that Adana had gotten admission into the University of Lagos. Women going to the stream talked about it. Men resting under the palm tree at the square argued about how she would become a doctor and bring development to the community. Even children on their way to school sang her name. Adana don't make am o, they shouted. Dr. Adana. For once, Chijioke felt taller than his bent back allowed. As he walked to the market to buy small beans for the evening meal, people stopped him. Chijioke, now your pikin make us proud o, one of the elders said, slapping his back. Another added, no be today we know say she go reach far. That girl gets sense pass plenty boys for this village. Chijioke's eyes shone with pride. He smiled and replied, na God o, I just dey try my best. I no get anything but God dey give strength. But beneath the pride, worry lived. Admission was joy, but school fees were heavy. The paper from the university carried figures that looked like mountain. Registration fees, hostel fees, acceptance fees, plenty of them. Chijioke had been saving for years, but still his metal tin under the bed was not enough. He knew he would have to sacrifice something bigger. That evening, Adana sat with her father under the mango tree again. The letter lay on the table between them. She held his hand. Papa, I know say money no dey easy, but don't worry. Even if it takes time, I will wait. You have already done enough for me. Chijioke shook his head. No, my daughter. You go enter school this year. I no go let poverty cheat us again. I no fit wait. Your mama spirit dey watch. I promise her. His voice trembled. He looked away so she would not see the tears in his eyes. At the same time, in another part of the village, Chiamaka's family house was quieter. She had not shown her rejection letter to anyone, not even her parents. Her mother kept saying, Chiamaka, you go soon join your friend for university, oh, no shame also. She only nodded, biting her lip until it bled. She hated how everyone was praising Adana. It felt like knives cutting her chest. When she saw Adana at the stream the next day, she forced a smile. My sister, congratulations, oh, she said, hugging her tightly. Adana's face lit up. Thank you, Chiamaka. I wish you got yours too. I really wanted us to go together. Don't worry. Maybe next year, Chiamaka replied. But in her heart, jealousy screamed. The following week, Chijioke made the hardest decision of his life. He took a walk to the far end of the village where his late father's land lay. It was the only valuable property he had left. The soil was rich. Every season it yielded good harvest. But without hesitation, he called a land buyer from the neighboring town. I want sell am o, he told the man firmly. The buyer raised an eyebrow. This land dey your family for generations o, you sure? Chijioke's face was hard. I dey sure. I need the money. My daughter dey go university. They bargained, the buyer trying to cut the price, but Chijioke's desperate eyes made him relent. By evening, the land was gone, the money folded inside his shirt. As he walked home, sweat rolled down his face, though the evening was cool. His heart ached, but he whispered, which in kind wahala be this? Land fit grow yam again, but my pikin future no fit wait. I no fit shout, let the land go. When he entered the compound, Adana saw the envelope in his hand. Papa, what happened? He placed the money on the table and looked at her. I don't sell the land. Now you go school. Her eyes widened, tears spilling down. Papa, that land is our heritage. Why would you? Shh. He interrupted, holding her shoulders. You be my heritage now. You be the one way go carry our name to higher ground. That land no go cry for me when I old, but you go stand for me. Go. Adana, make me proud. The next day, preparations began. Women from the church gathered to help her. They gave her small gifts, soap, provisions, even a little wrapper. The men in the village gathered to celebrate. Drums were beating and palm wine flowed. They danced under the moonlight and the chief himself blessed Adana. My daughter, he placed kola nut in her hand. Shine well in the city. Make Oruku proud. Adana nodded, overwhelmed with love and pride. But not everyone danced with a pure heart. In the corner of the crowd, Chiamaka watched, clapping weakly. She wore a smile, but her teeth clenched tight. Inside her, bitterness brewed. She thinks she don't win, she muttered to herself. But I go show and say, this war no dey favor only one person. The night ended with songs. Father and daughter start again in their small home, packing her few belongings into a bag. Adana hugged her father tightly. Papa, I promise I will not fail you. Chijioke kissed her forehead. I know. Sleep now, my daughter. Tomorrow begins the journey. As the lantern flickered, he looked at her sleeping form and whispered into the silence. Now, wow, God. Now my joy they sleep here. Protect her, my beg. But outside, under the same moon, Chiamaka stood at her window whispering too. But her words were darker. She go soon see. Very soon. And so, joy and jealousy prepared to travel side by side. One was bright like the rising sun, the other dark like the shadow it cast.
You leave Oruku before dawn. The sky is the color of ash. Palm trees stand like quiet guards along the road. You can taste dust in the mouth as the old boss coughs and starts. Chijioke holds Adana's bag with both hands. He refuses to let the conductor throw it on the roof. He keeps it by his knees like a small treasure. The engine growls. Women sell akara through the window. Someone shouts for change. Somewhere at the back, a baby cries and then sleeps. You watch them roll out of the village and into the far road. The smell of diesel mixes with morning breeze. Adana rests her head against the glass, her eyes half open, half dreaming. Chijioke stares ahead, silent. He is counting in his mind. He is checking papers. He is praying small prayers. He opens his pocket and touches the money envelope again. He whispers, "Na God go see us through. I no fit shout, but my heart they sing." Hours pass. The path becomes highway. The highway becomes city. Lagos rises like a wall. Traffic blocks the road. Hawkers brush past windows with phone chargers, cold water, plantain chips. The sound is loud. Horns, sirens, voices. The city breathes heavy. It almost swallows you. The campus gate appears at last. Blue uniform guards wave cars in. Students drag boxes and buckets, laughing and talking fast. Posters pace the walls. Fellowship invites, debate club, a drama show. The gate opens like a mouth and the boss enters. You see it through Adana's eyes. The halls stretch wide. The library glitters with glass. The lawn is green despite the heat. Young people hurry in every direction. Their steps are quick. Their faces shine with ambition. Her heart jumps. She is both excited and small. She holds her father's arm tight. He pats her hand, smiling. "Now here you go shine," he says. "No fear, you belong here." They find the hostel. It is a long building with balconies and clothes hanging to dry. Names are on paper at the entrance. Adana's name sits neatly on a list, room 3B. She laughs when she sees it. She covers her mouth with her palm like a shy child. Chijioke laughs too, loud and proud. Inside the room, The bed is iron. The mattress is thin. There is a window, a locker, a small table. It is not much, but to her it is a palace. She places her books on the table one by one. She sits on the bed and bounces lightly. She smiles at her father again and again. He wipes his forehead and says, "Now wow, see as God do am." They arrange her space in soft silence. They write down a short list for later. Bucket, mop, plate, lock. They go to the small market beside the hall and buy the cheapest things that still look strong. Chijioke bargains with respect. He stretches every naira like rubber. When the money begins to finish, he whispers a fresh prayer and pushes out one more note. He thinks of the land he sold. He thinks of the tin under his bed that is now empty. He thinks of the future that is now opening. By evening, they sit under a tree near the faculty. They eat rice from a nylon plate and drink cold sachet water. Adana points at a tall building. She says that must be where science practicals happen. She points at another. Maybe that is the lecture hall. She points at the big board where student groups are listed. Maybe she will join a reading group. Maybe she will volunteer at the clinic. Make you go steady, Chijioke says. Read well, pray well. No follow waka anyhow. City get many roads, but only one lead home. She nods. Yes, Papa.
Night crawls in. The campus glows with light. Laughter rises from the hostel. A guitar plays somewhere. A girl sings off key, and everyone cheers. Father and daughter stand and walk back. At the hostel gate, he stops. "This place safe?" he asks, peering into the corridor. "Yes, Papa. The aunties from student affairs said the matron stays close." "Good. Remember your lock. Remember your phone. If anything worry you, call me." "I will, Papa." He places his hand on her head. "God keep you. My heart dey here with you." He leaves. He stands at the gate and watches the building like a guard who refuses to sleep. He looks at the security light once more. Then he turns and joins the bus back to the park, back to the road, back to Oruku. His seat is hard. His eyes are wet. His mouth keeps moving with small prayers. "God abeg, protect my pikin. Which kind wahala be this if city swallow am?" You remain with Adana now. She breathes in the new air. She sits at the edge of her new bed. She arranges her books by subject: biology, chemistry, English. She places a small photo of her parents in the locker. She whispers, "I will make you proud." And then she sleeps with a soft smile. Morning comes quickly. The campus wakes up like a drum. Feet shuffle in the corridor. Water splashes in the bathroom. Someone laughs, loud and free. Adana brushes her teeth and ties her scarf. She wears her plain skirt and clean blouse. She does not have many clothes, but each one is neat. She steps outside with her timetable and a small pen. You see her eyes shine as she studies the map on her phone. She takes a left, then a right, then stops, confused. A tall girl in bright jeans smiles and points her to the lecture hall. Adana thanks her, grateful. She sits near the front. The lecturer walks in, grey hair and a quick voice. He talks about the body and its miracles, cells, tissues, systems. He writes on the board, fast, like chalk rain. Adana writes fast too. Her mind drinks the words. She is exactly where she belongs. At break time, a message pops on her phone. It is from Chiamaka. "I am in Lagos. Came to stay with my aunt for a while. I can visit you today. Where are you?" Adana blinked, surprised and happy. She replied with her hostel name and a smiling line. "Come," she wrote. "I missed you." By late afternoon, Chiamaka stands at the campus gate in a clean dress and neat sandals. She hugs Adana tightly. Her perfume is sweet. Her smile is wide. Her eyes are sharp. "My sister," she says, "I came to support you. Auntie lives close. I can be coming every day. Anything you need, I go help." Adana's heart warms. A friend from home in this great city feels like a small lamp in a dark road. She shows her the library. She shows her the lawn. She shows her the cafeteria where food is cheap. Chiamaka stares around slowly, noting doors, corners, pads, and faces. She asks careful questions. Which days are your labs? When do you go to class? Which route do you walk? Who is your roommate? Where do you keep your key? Her words are light like feathers. Her eyes are heavy like stones. From that day, Chiamaka becomes a shadow at Adana's side. She works hard to lectures. She waits downstairs when Adana reads late. She brings small snacks. She tells little jokes from Oruku and makes her friend laugh. Everyone thinks she is kind. Adana believes it too. But you see the slow turn. You notice how Chiamaka always discourages new friendships. That girl too loud, this one too proud, that one no like you. You notice how she gently shapes Adana's path. Follow this route, it is shorter, even when the route is dark and quiet. You notice how she borrows Adana's phone to check time, and her eyes move fast on the screen. You notice how she picks up Adana's key from the table when Adana goes to the bathroom, then smiles and drops it back before she returns. Small things begin to go missing. A biro here, a small note card there. Once, Adana's locker key is not in the usual cup. She searches with a small panic, then finds it under her pillow. She laughs in relief. She blames herself for being careless. You feel a thin line of code run along your arm. On Sunday evening, Chiamaka brings a small flask of stew. She says her auntie cooked plenty. They sit by the hostel steps and eat. Chiamaka watches her closely. You like it? She asks. Very much, Adana answers, licking oil from her thumb. Chiamaka's smile holds. Her eyes do not. At night, Adana calls her father. Papa, campus is wonderful, she says. The library is big like a dream. Lecturers talk fast, but I understand. I found fellowship too. I will join them on Wednesday. Good, good, my daughter. Hold God well, hold your books well. And how Chiamaka day? She's very helpful, Papa. She came to visit. She brings food sometimes. Be careful, he answers, soft but firm. Love people. Trust God. Watch everybody. City fit fine, but get teeth. I hear, Papa. She ends the call and presses the phone to her chest. She feels safe. She feels seen. She feels ready. And yet, as the week rolls on, shadows thicken. Twice, Adana nearly misses her class because her alarm did not ring. She thinks the phone failed. She does not know that someone had changed the time. Once, she reaches her room and finds the window open. She is sure she closed it. The curtain flutters like a warning flag. She shuts it and laughs at herself. Maybe wind did it. Maybe she's just tired. Chiamaka's stories about her aunt do not remain steady. Some days the aunt is a nurse, other days a trader. Some days they live close to campus, other days far away. When Adana asks for the address to visit, Chiamaka smiles and says, another day. When Adana says she wants to register for a campus medical support group, Chiamaka says, wait, let us check something first. I know another better one outside school. Very cheap, very quiet. She hands Adana his full card with a number written in blue. The ink smears. You hear the wind push softly against the hostel walls that night. You hear the corridor chatter fade. You hear Adana's steady breath while she sleeps. You hear a distant horn. A motorbike passes like a brief ghost and is gone. You feel the calm carry a strange weight under it, like a river with a deep current no one can see. Morning again, the timetable full, a lab to attend, a reading group to join. Chiamaka waits at the gate with 2 meat pies and a gentle laugh. She learns the pattern. She holds the key details. She locks the map of Adana's life inside her mind and smooths her dress with neat fingers. Come, she says, let me show you a shortcut. Adana follows. The path is narrow. Trees lean over it. A small drain runs along the side. The shortcut makes a bigger road, then splits again. They pass a kiosk where a radio plays news. They pass a store with cold drinks. The man at the store greets them. Chiamaka nods and pulls Adana along. The sun is high, but the shade in the narrow path feels cold. Later that afternoon, Adana returns to the hostel drained and happy. She did well in class. Her notes are full. She sings a small tune as she fills her bucket. Chiamaka stands by the tap, smiling, her eyes on the phone. A message sits on the screen. It is not from auntie. It is not from home. It is from a new number, a short line, a place, a time. Chiamaka locks the screen and slips the phone into her bag. She takes the second bucket from Adana's hand. "Let me help," she says. "Tomorrow will be a big day." You hear that line. You feel its cold edge. A big day. You do not know what shape it will take. You only know that joy has a stalker now, and the stalker breathes steadily and smiles politely and says please and thank you. Night falls again. The campus settles. The crickets resume their choir. Adana writes a short prayer in her notebook. She thanks God for her father. She thanks God for school. She asks for wisdom. She asks for protection. She closes the book and sleeps. In Oruku, the same night hangs quiet. Chijioke steps out into the compound and looks at the stars. He speaks in a low voice. "God, I dey beg, keep my pikin. See no bege no go reach her. Any plan wey no be your own, scatter am." He breathes in the cold. He goes back in. He sleeps like a tired tree, leaning but unbroken. You stand between the two places, a village that prays, a campus that hums, a friendship that smiles with straight teeth and bites with hidden fangs. The line between them grows thinner with each small choice, each tiny lie, each quiet turn down a narrow path. The big day is already walking toward them. If this story is touching your heart, do not keep it to yourself. Subscribe, like, and share so more people can follow Adana's journey. Tell us in the comments what you think will happen next and stay with us for the next chapter.
Campus life moved like a river, fast, noisy, and full of hidden stones. Some students swam with ease, laughing as they floated along. Others struggled, kicking hard just to stay afloat. Adana was one of those who tried to balance both. She studied hard, prayed in fellowship, and still managed to laugh with classmates after lectures. She was grateful for every moment. But behind her smile, a shadow followed. Chiamaka. At first, she still played the role of loyal friend. She carried Adana's books sometimes. She bought her snacks when money was low. She always reminded her of class times. But slowly, her hands and eyes began to reveal another mission. She was not there to support. She was there to watch, to plan, to strike. One afternoon, the two girls sat under a big almond tree near the library. Adana was bent over her biology notes, her pen moving fast. Chiamaka leaned back against the tree, quiet. She was not reading. She was looking. "You dey read too much, oh," Chiamaka said at last, her tone sharp but hidden with a smile. Adana laughed softly. "I want to pass now. Dr. Love no be joke, oh." Chiamaka nodded, but her jaw tightened. Everybody dey hail you for hostel now. Adana the future doctor. Adana the star. Sometimes I just dey wonder, what about the rest of us wey no get admission? Adana paused. She looked at her friend, surprised by the sudden bitterness in her voice. She reached out and touched her hand. "Chiamaka, your own time go come. Maybe next year you go enter. You are smart too." But Chiamaka pulled her hand away, forcing a laugh. "Na so. God's time is the best, Abi?" Yet, in her heart, her words carried poison. "If God cannot balance things, I will." Days passed. Adana's joy grew with each lecture, each new knowledge she gathered. Every evening she called her father. "Papa, I joined the study group," she said one night. "Good, my daughter," Chijioke answered from Oruku, his voice cracking through the small Nokia phone. "Hold that one well, oh. No leave book. Remember, na this book dey carry our family up. Na God we dey trust, but na knowledge we go use serve am." Another night, she told him, "Papa, campus dey sweet. Chiamaka dey help me plenty. She even brings me food." Chijioke smiled in the dark, his heart swelling. Na good friend be that. May God bless her. I no fit thank her enough."
But far away, in her aunt's small rented room in the city, Chiamaka sat alone with her thoughts. She stared at herself in the cracked mirror on the wall. Her aunt was hardly around, working long hours in a shop. Chiamaka was free to roam. She clenched her face as she remembered Adana's bright face. Always her, always Adana. Everybody clapped for her. Nobody looked me. Even Papa Chijoke, they pray blessing for my head like say I be house girl. No, this story must change. She opened her small bag. Inside, wrapped in a nylon, was a small packet she had bought secretly from a backstreet shop. Powder. Bitter, dangerous powder. The seller had whispered, just small inside drink and the person go weak. If too much, body no go survive. Chiamaka had held the packet like fire, her heart racing. She almost threw it away, but jealousy pushed her. She kept it, she hid it. On campus, the bond between them seemed tight, but cracks began to show. One day, Adana's roommate asked her to join a small Christian fellowship program. She agreed happily. But when she told Chiamaka, her friend frowned. You won't go join them? Waste of time. Better use that time read or rest. Na me they protect you here. Oh. I know this city pass you. Adana hesitated. She trusted Chiamaka, but she also felt the pull in her heart. I can balance it, she said softly. Chiamaka forced a smile. Okay, oh, just no forget who dey your side, oh. I no fit shout if you leave me waka alone. Another day, a boy from her class offered to help Adana with physics problems. He was kind, patient, and respectful. But when Adana told Chiamaka, the girl scoffed. That boy, abeg, avoid am oh. I hear say he get bad character. No let anybody deceive you. Na only me you fit trust. And slowly, like water shaping stone, Chiamaka's influence cut Adana off from others. But her innocence was strong. She never suspected her. When she fell sick one evening after eating beans at the cafeteria, she blamed the food. She never knew Chiamaka had switched her plate with one laced with a pinch of the powder. She vomited through the night. Chiamaka stayed by her side, patting her back, cleaning the floor. Everyone praised her loyalty. Adana herself wept and said, "Thank you, my sister. I no know what I go do without you." Chiamaka smiled faintly in the dark, whispering, "Soon, you go find out." Meanwhile, in Oruku, Chijioke worked harder than ever. He took more farm jobs for neighbors. He carried heavy loads in the sun. He even went to the stream to cut firewood for sale. His body grew weaker, but his joy was full because every night when the phone rang, his daughter's voice lifted him. "Papa, I am strong again. Papa, I scored high in my first test. Papa, campus dey sweet." And he would laugh in relief, saying, "My daughter, you dey make my old bones dance." But destiny was already bending toward a dark corner. One Saturday, Adana and Chiamaka went to the city market together. They walked through crowded stores. They bought soap, bread, small provisions. The noise of bargaining filled the air. Chiamaka watched carefully as Adana bought a new water bottle. That night, when Adana slept, she quietly replaced it with another identical one she had prepared earlier. One filled with sweet drink at the top, but powder settled below. She rehearsed the plan in her mind. Tomorrow, after fellowship, Adana will drink. The smile will fade. The body will fall. Nobody will suspect. It will look like food sickness again. But when morning came, Adana's roommate borrowed her bottle without asking and carried it to the tap. She rinsed it, poured fresh water, and drank half of it, wrinkling her nose at the strange taste, and threw it away, never knowing how close she came to death. Chiamaka hid her anger behind a smile. She realized she needed patience. She couldn't rush. She would wait for the perfect time. And so she did. Every day she followed Adana. Every day she learnt more.
Every day, her jealousy hardened into resolution. You, the reader, can already feel the drumbeat of tragedy rising. Adana is still calling home, still laughing, still full of hope. Chijioke is still saving small coins to send her. But the shadow is now a snake, and the snake has coiled close, waiting to strike.
The sun rose sharp and hot over Lagos. On campus, the hostel yard buzzed with life. Students rushed for lectures. Some chewing bread as they walked, others clutching books to their chest. Adana stood by the tap, filling her bucket. Her white blouse was neat, her skirt plain but ironed straight. Her eyes sparkled with hope, the same way they did the day she opened her admission letter in Oruku. She was singing softly, a hymn her mother used to hum. All will be well, all will be well. The words carried peace. But not far away, someone else's heart was beating with dark intention. Chiamaka watched her from the balcony. Her hand trembled slightly as it held the rail. The packet of powder was still in her bag, hidden like a devil waiting to be called. The failed attempts had made her restless, but today she whispered, today must end it. When Adana returned to her room, she found a small cooler of stew on the table. She frowned. Who put this here? Chiamaka smiled easily. Nah me. My aunt cooked plenty again. I thought we should share. Adana's heart warmed. You are too kind. She scooped rice from her pot and added the stew. She began to eat, smiling between mouthfuls. She didn't know. She couldn't know. Within minutes, her throat burned, her chest tightened, her spoon clattered against the plate. She coughed hard, clutching her neck. Her roommate jumped up, panicked. Adana, what is it? Adana's lips moved, but no sound came. Her eyes widened with terror. The hostel screamed with noise as girls rushed about. Someone shouted for help. Someone ran to call the matron. Adana collapsed to the floor, her body shaking. Chiamaka knelt quickly, pretending to support her. She cried, "Oh my God, what is happening? Help! Somebody help!" But inside, her mind was whispering, "It is done. Finally, it is done." They carried Adana to the campus clinic. The nurse rushed to her side, pressing her chest, checking her pulse, shouting instructions. But by the time the doctor arrived, her body was still. Her chest had stopped rising. Her eyes had rolled back. Gone, the doctor said softly. The room fell silent. Only the distant hum of a generator filled the air. When the news spread through the hostel, girls wept. Some collapsed. Some prayed loudly. The fellowship members gathered in shock, refusing to believe. And in Oruku, the phone rang. Chioke was returning from the farm. His shirt was wet with sweat, his back aching, but his heart was light because he had just sold a basket of cassava and planned to send Adana small money for books. He saw the phone buzzing on the stool. He picked it up, his smile already spreading. "Adana, my daughter, how you dey?" But the voice on the other end was not hers. It was shaky, heavy. Are you the father of Adana Chioke?" His hand froze. His heart jumped. Yes, na me. Wetin happen? Where my pikin?" There was silence, then a sigh. "Sir, I am calling from the university clinic. I am sorry. Your daughter, she collapsed this morning. She didn't make it." The words cut like a blade. For a moment, he thought his ears had failed him. Eh? Which kind nonsense talk be this? Which Adana? My own Adana will call me last night. No. You dey make mistake. The voice was quiet. "Sir, I am sorry. Please come." The phone slipped from his hand. He staggered back, holding his chest. The wall tilted, his knees buckled, and he fell to the ground, dust rising around him. Neighbors rushed. "Choke, wetin happen?" But he could not answer. His mouth only whispered, "My daughter, my light gone?" The journey to Lagos was the longest of his life. He rode in silence, his eyes red, his lips trembling prayers that refused to form. Every bump of the road stabbed his chest. Every passing building reminded him of dreams broken. At the clinic, they led him to a cold room. The nurse pulled the sheet back. There she was, his daughter, his Adana, still, pale, silent. "Papa!" Her lips no longer moved. The eyes that once carried light were closed forever. Tioke let out a cry that tore through the air. "Chineke God, why? Why now? After all my sweat, all my sacrifice, why you carry my only child? Sick bege, which kind wahala be this?" He fell on the body, clutching her hands, kissing her cold forehead. His tears soaked her hair. People in the room looked away, their own eyes wet. The funeral was arranged quickly. Her body was transported back to Oruku. The whole village gathered. Women wailed, men shook their heads, children stood wide-eyed, silent. This was supposed to be a celebration. They were supposed to gather to send her off to greatness. Instead, they gathered to put her in the ground. Chioke stood by the grave, his face hollow, his hands trembling. He wore the same one shirt he used for farming, the shirt soaked now with tears. The pastor spoke words of comfort, but they floated past him like empty wind. When the coffin was lowered, his knees gave way. Men held him up. He shouted again, "My daughter, I saved every kobo. I sold my land. I gave my sweat, my blood, and a burial like they do instead of graduation. God, why you not carry me instead?" The soil covered the coffin, one shovel after the other. The sound was heavy. The sound was final. When the last mound was made, silence swallowed the place. Only the sound of a distant goat broke the stillness. That night, Choke sat outside his hut, staring into the darkness. His eyes were dry now, but his soul was empty. The tin under his bed was still there, but it no longer mattered. The money, the land, the sacrifice, all had become dust. He whispered into the night, his voice broken. "Adana, my child, my pride, I no fit question God, but I no go ever understand. Why you? Why now? You for be doctor, you for lift me up. Now only silence remain." In the shadows, the crickets sang. The stars blinked faintly. Somewhere far away, Chiamaka sat alone, her own soul restless. Her envy had achieved its goal, but the taste was bitter, not sweet. She could not sleep. The face of her friend haunted her. And in Oruku, an old farmer sat in grief, holding the memory of a girl who carried his hope but was stolen too soon. The story closed not with triumph, but with a father's broken voice and a haunting question that will never find answer. Why?